Hello everyone, it is Chris. Today I am here to organize my collection, sort of redo it, because as you can see, this is my first ever comic box I got. I showed it off kind of in my whole collection video I have kind of at the beginning of my channel. As I said, I'm not really a fan of this one. This is like an Amazon one that I found. It's like made out of some type of like felt or whatever. It's not really sturdy, it kind of bends and stretches, and just wanted something more supportive. Plus I'm out of space. That was kind of my main thing, was like I can use this one because it does the job, and I'll fill it up, and then when I get to the point where I need more, I'll invest in something a little better, and we've hit that point. So as you can see, I've got my full bin here. This is everything. This is all my single issues, apart from like back here I have a couple absolute titles I have yet to catch up on that are still unboarded and unbacked and stuff because I gotta read them. Over here I've got some of my reads from this week, this Wednesday, as well as all of the Age of Revelation titles I just went through. If you haven't seen my video, check that out. Also, I guess kind of before we go on, I kind of want to do a quick update about that. So I literally just released that video yesterday. I've been working on it for like a week now. I thought the Age of Revelation event was going to be this big long thing. Turns out it looks like it's pretty short. It looks like it's coming to an end by the end of the year. By December, January, I think the event is going to be wrapped up. I was on my local shop's website looking at the final call orders stuff for, pre-order and issues or whatever, and I saw, I think January at the latest, by December, January, there was an X-Men issue 23 coming out, which is like a follow-up to where X-Men ended and Age of Revelation started. So 23 is going to be the end of the Age of Revelation, like the epilogue basically. So I guess all the issues that are come out for Age of Revelation are going to be done by like issue 2 or 3. I'm pretty sure probably by issue 3 they'll all be wrapped up. So if that's the case and it's that small event, I might just end up checking all of them out. We'll see what the bank account allows for, but yeah, I guess that's just kind of some information I want to touch up on, because I thought this was going to be like a long ongoing thing, but it seems like it's going to be a lot more smaller in scale than I was expecting. I was also looking at some of the covers for some of the upcoming issue 2 and 3s, and it looks like there's a lot of like immediate crossovers between like a ton of the issues already. So they're going to be a lot more connected and intertwined than I was thinking, it seems, at least for some of the bigger titles. I don't know about some of the more solo characters. So anywho, we're getting, away from ourselves here. What we got is issues that need to be organized. Like I said, this is everything. So I've got my like sort of collector stuff in here, I guess. I've got all my DC, all my Marvel, all my indie stuff. I want to separate and organize them a little bit into different bins, because this is too full and I can't keep shoving more in there, and I like my organization. So back here, just the other day, I got some boxes and stuff, because I found this for relatively cheap online, I guess. But relatively cheap. I mean, it was a good deal. I got, let me cut this. I don't know if this is too loud or not. So here I've got 3 boxes that need assembled. There we have our lid, so pretty easy to assemble. Fits nice and snug. Pretty quality already, infinitely more times durable than my current box, I can tell. So these are from Invested Alliance. This was a set of 3 I got, all cardboard short boxes, and they also came with, or at least the option I got, came with a 25 pack of dividers, which was really nice, because up until this point I have been using just regular comic backs as my dividers, and I don't like being, when I get my backs and my sleeves together, it's like I don't want to be out of these and have more sleeves than I do backs, Anywho, worth upgrading from these anyways, because they did the job, but once again, it was same as the box, it was due time for an upgrade. So we threw in the extra $5 and got some dividers. Now I'm gonna start with the first box. Like I said, I'm definitely doing a DC box, that's guaranteed, so that's what I'll fill up first. I do, however, I think want to take all of these out so I can just see everything, what we're working with, and so I can get an idea of kind of what I want to put where and together and all that stuff. And we'll also look at my collection all spread out. I'm sure it's going to be a lot, so see you in a second. One of my favorite things I've ever read. If you have not already, please do so. I cannot stress enough how good this is. So Absolute Wonder Woman, so far I've read the first 6 issues. All the rest, up to issue 12, are in that stack right over there. Still got to catch up on all those, as well as the Superman. I think Absolute Superman is the one I'm furthest behind on. I think I've only read up to issue 3, because issue 4 they didn't have for forever. So also in that stack. So both of those I will be doing videos solely on those, where I'm like rereading from issue 1 all the way up to whatever one I get to on Superman. Like I said, Wonder Woman I'm trying to do before they hit issue 15, because that's when we cross over with Batman, which I'm already caught up on Absolute Batman. So Wonder Woman is going to be a big primary goal for me this next week or two, so coming up. Well, in case you were wondering what it looked like to have almost every single Absolute title in the current DC runs, this is everything. This is issues 1 through, 13 of Batman we're on right now, 13, 14, I think 13 of Batman, issues all 1 through 6 of Martian Manhunter, 1 through 8 of The Flash, 1 through 8 of Green Lantern. I have issue 8 right up over there, so that one's technically not here. Superman and Wonder Woman, both of them I have all the way up to issue 12. Those are the ones unwrapped right on the top here. But yeah, basically almost every single issue in the Absolute line right here, so quite a lot, quite a hefty stack. I'm trying not to drop it or bend any of them, but yeah, that's kind of why I needed to upgrade and give these bad boys a box of their own, because this is like, yeah, that's a lot. So yeah, basically a good half of this box is all DC Comics. I don't know, I guess it's kind of hard for you to see, but if I lift it, all of these back here, this half is all DC. Everything else in the front half here is all the rest of my stuff. So basically all this empty gap as well as what's left here, this was all between my DC and my Absolute stuff. So what can I say? I'm a big DC fan. Reading DC comics are like the majority of only the comics I've read. They were what I first started with, and I don't know, it's what got me into like a lot of superhero stuff and just learning more about characters and everything, because it's like, well, you only have so many games and movies and TV shows, and only so many of them are of like real quality, you know, worth actually your time and checking out and stuff. So what better way to do it than comics, because that's where it all comes from anyways, you know. So what can I say? I'm a DC man. That being said, I'm loving the indie stuff. Is like incredible. There are so many good indie comics out there, and I know that's like a kind of obvious thing to say, I feel like, but you know, when there's so much superhero content, that's what a lot of people read. I feel like, I don't know, obviously I don't know these people personally, that's why I make this channel, so I can talk to people, but it's just like, there's so much good stuff out there. You wouldn't think, you know, I don't know, there's just so much creative material and so many cool concepts and ideas and stories and authors and artists and everything like that, and you know, there really is so many different worlds. There's really anything for any type of reader. There's so much to get into, so yeah, I'm trying to work on my collection. As you can see, we're certainly expanding ever so more by the week, but yeah, DC is just where it's at for me. It's hard to stray from them, and they just got so many solid hitters, and so many cool things that they do with characters. Like I said, I love a good, let's take a character we know and love and do something completely different and unique, and or even just like little twists, you know, just kind of the same but kind of different. I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, DC will certainly be the biggest part of my collection for a good while, I imagine. Here's everything we've got on DCKO so far. Omega Act Prelude, the first issue I've got a couple different covers of. So we got the Daniel Warren Johnson. Man, I loved this one, the roster one, but I don't know if you saw my video when I first read the DCKO issue, and I was flipping through it for like the video when I show you guys like the pages as I'm talking. Basically a part of the cardstock here. Sorry, it's gonna go out of focus, but I don't know if you can see it there. Kind of on the side right between Lobo and stuff, there's a smudge. Basically my fingers just kind of like wore off the color on the cardstock as I was just flipping the pages and holding it past in front of the camera. By the time I was done, I closed it and I looked back at it, and yeah, now it's kind of white there where I rubbed off some of the black ink. So if anyone's got some cardstock covers, just be wary of holding them, or sweaty fingers. I don't know what it was, but that's the only one that I've ever done that to, which kind of sucks because I really like this cover. But yeah, we got a couple of the first issues. This is my blind bag one that I opened. The foil, what is this, Greg Capullo, I think it was. I could be wrong about that, but I want to say that's whose cover that is. All our tie-ins, DCKO and Superman, Justice League. Still waiting on the Flash one. My shop, like I said, understocked unfortunately the week that came out, and they sold out before I got there. And I'm still waiting for them to get that in. So I saw some screenshots already of like Flash, I think, getting his butt kicked by Darkseid a bit. So I'm really curious to read that one, see what's going on. I've been seeing a picture online going around a lot for this too. Someone posted a screenshot and it was this issue of Batman, and it said like 87 variants or something, like 80 something variants that had, and I saw it was kind of making a discourse online, which like I don't really care how many covers of this there gets, especially because like for what this was, if it was just like random issues that were doing like a crap ton of variants, whatever, but like this one especially I thought was a big deal because of I thought this one was especially a big deal because of the like the new Batman #1 release, that being such a big thing. You know, a lot of people really wanted to check this issue out too. It was a big thing with the blind bags, that being a kind of new thing they're doing, I guess. Anywho, I just thought there was like a lot of reason for this. Plus, it's like no one's asking you to get all the variants. If there's a lot that you like and you feel the need to get them all, I mean that's on you, I guess. But nothing wrong with there being a bunch of different variants for something that is, I think, like memorable or worth the occasion. Once again, it's Batman. Batman sells the most ever out of any comic superhero, literally like ever. Like no one will ever top this. So it's kind of like, well, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't there be so many for something, a new issue 1 of a new series of Batman? It just makes sense, at least to me. The foil blind bag one I got, I don't know who the artist was for this one, unfortunately. I gotta say, I love these two. The contrasting like blue on yellow with the yellow on blue here. Yeah, that's just nice. That's clean. This is still one of my favorite covers I own, by the way. This is Absolute Flash issue 2. I believe it's, I don't remember his first name. It's McLean. It's the last name. Hope I'm saying that right. MacLeann. But I forget the first name, forgive me. But got 2 covers from him, and I found them both on the same day, and I copped them both because I was like, yeah, these things are just, I love his style. I have not seen any more covers from him, unfortunately. I gotta look into it, see what else kind of art he's got in general, or comic stuff, I guess. But I love these covers, especially this one. The colors on this are just sweet. I would love to put this one on my wall. I also have 2 Absolute Wonder Woman #1s, but this one, this is my reading one. This one is a first print, so that one is like one of my, I will be holding on to that for a good while. The other one right here, Absolute Superman, because once again, the first time I ever made a trip to the store, I was going to get the first printings of all of the Absolute titles, so I want to check them all out. This was what they had for Absolute Superman first print. They did not have the default cover, which I was looking for, but at the time, once again, first time there, I was like, I don't care, I just want to read the story, and the cover doesn't matter to me. Obviously now I'm a little more picky, but yeah, I got this cover, which I still like. It's cool, so that's the first one I have. But right here, this is a first printing Absolute Superman. I got this this was online, I found it after I read the first one. I got this for like under 20 bucks. It was a pretty solid little snag, so I'll definitely be holding on to that as well. Maybe one day if I find an Absolute Batman, that'd be swell. But yeah, Superman and the Wonder Woman one I had to kind of track down for a little bit. Absolute Martian Manhunter, Flash, and Green Lantern, all of those were still first printing on the shelves, so I was able to get those all real easy. I got first prints for like those whole series basically. Yeah, so this is like everything DC right now. Basically, it's all out on the floor. Like I said, it's half this box is now empty, as you can see here. I've got all my Absolute titles spread there. We've got some DCKO Night Fight, which has got to go in the DCKO stack. So I kind of organized the different piles. We got, like I said, each pile for our Absolute titles. I've got all my like single issues, my one-off stuff. So anything that I've only ever collected, like one issue stuff, or like I have like the Larfleeze issue 12 random like back pull, whatever. I've got all the Deadpool Batman, all the like, because it's a one shot, but all the different variant covers and stuff, all those are in there. So different things like that I've got in its own category. Like I said, DCKO I'll keep together so I can have like all the DCKO and all the tie-ins and everything kind of in order. We got Kryptonite, Spectrum, Batman, basically all the like ongoing series I read, those are their own piles. And then last but not least, we kind of got our like Grail collector stuff that I'll be sort of the stuff where I'm like, hey, no touching, those are mine. That's this pile. So I'll get more specific into what I've got in each pile when I go to fill them in the boxes. But yeah, I was expecting to get all of these out on the floor because like I said, still got about half this box. Don't want all those to fall and damage anything, that's bad, but got about half my collection here to go, and I am very quickly running out of room, so we might have to put some in the box. We'll see. That or I just back up the camera. Yeah, so in comparison, the Marvel stack is much smaller, although I probably will, like I said, eventually give it its own box, just because that or the indies, whichever I get more of first, will get its own box, and the rest will end up staying in here temporarily. For now, I think I'm just going to do the one DC box, and everything will probably go back into here, but I'm at least just taking things out and reorganize them. Like I said, Marvel, much smaller. These are sort of my completed slash ongoing series. So this is Bring on the Bad Guys Doom. I've got the 3 issues of Daredevil Cold Day in Hell. Those are my 2 completed series, and then I've got all my ongoing. So like Mortal Thor's in here, Marvel Zombies, Undead Iron Fist. So a couple of those series. Then same thing as my DC one, sort of my one-off single issues I've got. So got the Silver Surfer here, The Thing, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Man Torn, stuff like that. Just things I've only got 1 issue of so far. Probably will become ongoing, at least some of them. And then I've got sort of my like collector grail things. Not really, because if I'm being honest, it's only 2, or kind of 1. This Avengers one by Peach Momoko. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I love her art. Her art is the best ever. So I wanted to get this Avengers one because I just like all the heroes and stuff and everything on it. Other than that, I've got this Fantastic Four, but it's Disney characters. Kind of got Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, always our Fantastic Four theme. I just thought it was kind of cool. Wanted to have it just to hold on to it. Other than that, I've got my 4 Trick or Read Halloween issues here. Nothing like super crazy that I'm like, oh, I have to keep these pristine, but just because they are like a little bit more unique in that, I guess just a free little Halloween issue thing I got. I'll keep them with my like collector stuff or whatever for now, but just the 3 piles for Marvel, which means everything left in this box that you can see, about a quarter of it so right here, is all going to be my indie stuff, I believe, except for, yeah, just these 2. I technically have 2 unopened blind bags. I've got a DC KO blind bag, and I still have a Batman issue 1 blind bag. I have not opened either of these. These are still sealed. I've got them in their bags. I thought I would hold on to these for a good while, see what they become worth eventually. I know at my local comic shop they got their wall of like everything that's kind of a little bit more on the pricey side, just, you know, more rare stuff, finds, signed stuff, whatever. I think they have one of these, this Batman one on the wall right now that someone is consigning to sell. I think it's like $60 or something they got it for, so seems like it could be worth something in due time. But yeah, I got 2 of these, DCKO and Batman. I only got 1 of each. Part of me is like, I wish I got more, but I know the week I bought them, I only got 1 because I have fat stacks of other stuff and I'm only spending so much money. So 1 of each is certainly not bad by any means. Those will be going with the collector Holy Grail DC items for sure. No touchy. Another one very much like Martian Manhunter. If you have not read Everything Dead and Dying, right now we're only 2 issues in, 3rd one coming out soon, you are missing out big time. This is a zombie story to, oh god, it's so good. I don't want to like spoil anything, but yeah, if you're not reading it, just check it out. Okay, I know I just said that about Everything Dead and Dying, but actually, like, besides Martian Manhunter, my favorite thing that I'm currently reading off of shelves, Everything Dead and Dying is a close contender, don't get me wrong, it's very close, but Escape, just because we're 3 issues in, 3 issues right here, we got the 3rd one. Yeah, that 3rd issue, especially for Escape, was something else. I mean, number 2 was really gorgeous, number 1 was a great start, but number 3 is like on some other stuff. This is going to be an all-time series for me, I'm thinking. Well, that is all of them spread out before me here. You can see box empty. Get that out of the way. I'll scoot over a little bit. So only 2 piles for the indies. We kind of got like all our ongoing stuff grouped all differently, some by series, some by whatever, and then sort of our single issues and one-shots and stuff. So a lot of different, let me see if I can get a different angle. As you can see, this is going to be everything here. So like I said, a couple different stacks. All of that's Age of Revelation, so I guess technically that is part of the Marvel stuff down here, which I didn't really cover. So that's, yeah, I think Marvel's definitely gonna need its own box after Age of Revelation. So that's some absolute titles there. We got our 6 different absolutes there. So we got Batman, Flash, Superman, Martian, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. Our sort of Grail collector items, single issues, ongoings. Like I said, collectors, single, ongoing, or completed. Ongoing, completed, single issues, stuff like that. So it's kind of how I'm going to break it up. Same thing with, I got the dividers for that reason, so I can divide them up in the box by my specific needs. I don't know if anyone else, I'm sure people get more complicated with it than this, but at least for now, this is what works best for me because, like I said, that's a full box worth of comics, and there's a lot of issues. Well, technically more than a box worth because those weren't in there. And then I've technically got over here, these are still some of my issues from this week that I gotta read yet, so yeah, a lot of issues to go in. So I'm going to start with putting our 2 stacks of indies here back in this box, which, like I said, this isn't anything crazy for me. This is kind of like a temporary box, I guess. The sides are very flimsy. I guess it's supposed to be for able to like fold and portable. It's good for transport, which that it is, but in terms of comic storage, it's not a long-term bin by any means. So I've got the like cardboard just to support the walls for something to give the comics to lean on a bit. But for now, just because indies, we don't have too many of just these stacks, these will be going back into this box. We can start with our single issues here. So we got like Good Devils, Something's Killing the Children, a Power Rangers special, Street Sharks. I got like a Ninja Turtles Power Rangers foil here. It's kind of cool. Basically, a couple of my random single issue stuff here up until we get to my Turtles, because Turtles, we kind of got some series going on. So like I said, we got the foil there. We got Casey Jones #1. I have got TMNT Journey #1. This Kevin Eastman cover, our annual, which we just read. I'll put Speed Racer to the side. I'll put that with the other Speed Racer stuff. But for now, like I said, kind of got all our single issues leading into our Turtles, which will start off the stack of our ongoings. So only these ones, but for now, I will definitely be checking out more of this Tales of the TMNT. So we got #1 there, Shredder. I got #1 and #2. I don't have like too many collector's items. Like this to me would technically kind of be a collector's item. The Kevin Eastman, the other foil in there, but like none of them are super like crazy. Like nothing in this one where I'm like, they gotta get their own own section for it. So, and that's everything in this bin for now. So here is all of our indies again. Give the cardboard falling over. We've got all of our sort of single issue stuff here, and then back here is all of our series ongoing issues. We're adding a third cardboard panel back here because I'm going to use cardboard on both ends, and then as well as a piece of cardboard, I guess, sort of as a bigger divider between my indies here and my Marvel stuff. You may ask, didn't you just get a bunch of dividers? Why don't you use those? To that, I say, mind your own business. Alright, so that's gonna be this box filled back up. As you can see here, we've got a couple dividers. Our first little tiny bit here, which you can't really see, is just all our indie one-shot single issue stuff, divided by our completed and or ongoing series here. Once again, all indie stuff. Got my little cardboard divider to then go into my Marvel collector whatever items, my single one-shot issues, and then my completed series, followed lastly by Age of Revelation, all back here. So yeah, a pretty good hefty little box here for sure still. Like I said, eventually Marvel is definitely going to need its own box, but for now I've got everything in here, and that saves space in my closet or wherever, you know, I'll keep it. So for now, this will do the job. Here we've got a bunch of yarn. I was just gonna grab this stuff in here so this doesn't keep happening. So got a couple yarn rolls in the back now. Hopefully hold this up a little bit better. I still got it on full contact with the cardboard here though, just because the yarn is, you know, pliable and stuff. I don't want to give it any weird shapes, want them to stand straight up. So I'm not gonna try and take too long here because these are a lot of comics, and for me to go through one by one through all of them is a lot. Like I said, I've already gone over the absolutes and kind of like some of my cool prints and stuff like that we've got. Other than that, like I said, we got a couple of our other collector items. I got all my like Batman days, so Batman and Robin Year 1, Issue 1. What's this? Batman's Finest, Batman Year 2, or DC Finest, Batman Year 2, sorry. The Absolute Batman Annual, I just feel like that's going to be something worth some value one day, possibly. Over here we got all of our other Absolute first issues, like I was saying, and some variant covers and all that. Down here at the very bottom, I got my red Deadpool and Batman #1. Not a grail item yet, but one day this is something I would like to hopefully turn into one. So I'm just going to keep that with these now just so it stays in the utmost pristine condition. And after that, here we got a bunch of our single issues. I got like Aquaman, Absolute Evils in here. We got the Superman Red and Blue special. I've got Adventures of Superman Book of L, my Larfleeze issue, the rest of my Deadpool and Batman covers. So yeah, a couple of the random one-off issues there. And after that, like I said, we got a bunch of our series here. So I've got Superman Kryptonite Spectrum issues 1 through 3, Batman issue 1 and 2, although I've got 5 different covers here, and then all of our DCKO titles back here. So those are kind of all of my ongoing, eventually to be completed titles. And then last but not least, we have got what basically started all of this, because once again, if you've seen my old collection video, this is not my first time ever reading comics. I do own other comic books, but more just one-off random things I've read. Some, like I've read Injustice, TMNT stuff. I've got a bunch of manga right over here on this shelf. But these are what got me into the heading to my shop on a weekly basis and pulling out single issues, because these are just the absolute titles or something else, man. I don't know what to say. It's just like, for someone like me who is like, there's nothing really in comics that is so stand out that really makes me want to jump into it right now, because I'm going to be lost. I don't know where things are at. I don't know like what events or what tie-ins or crossover. I hate feeling lost was my main big turn away from comics. So having these titles, something where it's like, hey, this is brand new. This is its own thing. You don't got to worry about reading anything else. And the cool part is this is now tying into other stuff they've already had going on. So it's like, just added layers of, wow, this is amazing. But you can still just pick these up and read them on their own, and they're phenomenal. Like, just the absolute stuff is crazy. So yeah, if anyone hasn't checked these out and you love your DC superheroes, you're kind of sleeping. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what you're doing. You can't go wrong with any of these. I know a lot of people have their different opinions on what's good and whatnot. Like, my weakest one is probably gonna be the Flash. It's just taking a while to get where I want it to. My favorite is Martian Manhunter, and this is the one that's got the least amount of issues. This is only 6 issues right now. It was supposed to only be 6 issues, but it got renewed for another 6 because of how popular it was, which, damn straight, well deserved. So, yeah, if you haven't checked them out, please do so. And that's gonna fill up our DC box for now. Already pretty full, as you can see. I still got a little bit of space back here, but for the most part, we're about like 60-70% of the way full on this box already. Granted, this is Absolute and all my other DC titles, but still, it is a lot. Those aren't even in here yet, because once again, I have not read these yet. This is all Wonder Woman and Superman, so eventually that will be in here as well to take up even more space. I will say, before I wrap this up, because this is going to be the end of this, the only thing about these boxes, if anyone is interested, the way these handles work on the inside, I'll see if I can try and show you real quick, but this handle kind of folds inward to hold this flap, so you could probably tear the handle off, but ideally it's supposed to be bent upwards to hold this flap in, and you can stick your hands in here. The only thing is they're sticking out because the box is brand new, and that will absolutely crease your comics. Even if they're up, it's still kind of like a bump against the wall, so the comics shouldn't be straight against it. Therefore, I've cut out some more cardboard again to make as my walls. I got a piece in here as well for this handle, since they're all leaning up on that one. Like I said, just kind of something, I guess, for something to consider if you are interested in these boxes at all. Alright everyone, and that is going to bring us to the end of our video. If you watched this or enjoyed it, thank you so much for watching. I don't think this could be anything special crazy, but maybe just some nice background noise for anyone who's looking for something to throw on during a meal or to fall asleep, I don't know. But yeah, just reorganizing our comic collection today, nothing special, so I will see you all in the next video. Peace.